Both?
Yeah, well, yeah, both. Honestly,
Okay.
I would like to be able to teach it, because my thing is after we're done with our cake auction, I'm not really pushing to make projects anymore. Cake auctions in February, it's like this is the perfect thing to pick
Yeah.
up right after that's over. So.
Okay. So the contest wise, those boards right there, that is exactly what we use in the contest. Build you however many of those you need. I would say plywood's cheap, but it costs like an arm and a leg now for a sheet. But that's what they are. I use metal boxes because they hold up better.
Okay.
I will tell you that at a contest, we may or may not ground the metal boxes, and that's only because most residential use plastic. Plastic ones don't hold up. Not to be used over and over and over, so we use metal ones. So what I do is every 8th grader that comes through my doors wires. Every one of them. We have about a 3-week long section. I spend a week on the basics. The black is hot, the white is neutral, the bare green wire is ground, the red is an extra hot. And then and continue to stress to them that you are not a certified electrician. Do not take the plug out of your house, because they will do that. And then after that, we go out and we wire up a series receptacle right here. And the ones I give them are actually color coded. And they wire the first one up. And I say, okay, that's good. Then we wire up the second one, and they do it by the diagram. So whenever they do that, they'll get these tools. And this will go a little bit more towards the contest. Let me grab some receptacles.
Now, Randy, when you order this stuff, do you get it off of Amazon? Because
Some
my
of
local
it.
hardware store doesn't carry a whole lot of electricity stuff.
That or Lowe's. I get a lot of stuff from Lowe's.
Talking about like the wire and.
Well, just everything. I've got an electrician that's in our community that I can get wire and receptacles from, no problem. It's the tools, like getting enough tools.
Amazon.
That's what you do.
I bought those off Amazon, those off Amazon. Lowe's carries these, and this is the new type of wire stripper. It's actually really nice, easy. Lowe's.
Okay.
I just,
Do you like hack something?
Project
Do you like-
source and the
yes and no. It
Yeah.
depends. These I bought as an 8-pack because it was cheaper.
Yeah.
These I had to buy single because they were cheaper that way.
Okay.
It really depends. Let's move this thing over here. There you go. Okay, so whenever they go to wire it, we're going to wire up. Well, we can wire up this one first. Especially in the contest, I tell them all to do a handful. Obviously, I do look at the kid when I come up. I'm going to allow you to have a little bit extra because your hands are bigger than mine. If it's a girl sitting there and she has a little less, that's fine. Obviously, hers can be a little less. I graded, we had 70-some kids in every contest this year, and the only one I counted off for, they had wire all the way up to here.
Yeah.
Like that's
Way too much.
that's way too much. If it's relatively close, I'm gonna tell them that, hey, a little less next time. I'm not gonna count this time, and go from there. But what I tell everybody, give you a little handful, mark the inside of the box, and then you have like this cable ripper. It's got the little tooth on there. You put it in there wherever you want it, and then you pull it. My problem with these is they get dull and they rip. This thing's got a little hook in there, and I like it. Your wire's got to be straight. You run it on down in there, stab it, peels right off. That sucker's nice. It did take a while for me to learn. We want to trim all this stuff off, make this look nice and neat. All this paper that's left over is bad. It doesn't look neat. Then we stick it back up in here. I can't tell you how many kids that have wired this sucker out here and they wire the other end on and they go, it's not in the box.
Yeah.
So I always tell my kids to strip it off, put it back in the box. On the back side of most switches and receptacles, it has a strip gauge. And all I do, I'm right-handed, so I'll take my left-hand thumb, put it up against it, mark it, and take these and put it right up against my thumb, squeeze, twist, it's off. And then for making the hook, I bend it 45 degrees backwards, flip it there, and then twist it. And then the gold is the hot ones. You want it to go with the turn. Hook it on there. Best trick I've learned is hold it with these two fingers, push these wire back and hold it, pull it up. It makes it nice and tight. And you just tighten it up. Because it may, if they don't do that, most of the time it's going to shoot up and it's going to look loose and doesn't look as good. Typically, the first few contests we don't count out for it. When we get to state, that'll be a point. This black insulation cannot be under the screw head, and it has to be wrapped to the right with the screw clockwise. If it's wrapped the other way, whenever the screw tightens, it's actually pushing that wire out, so there's less contact. Let me say, they do those two, and those two are more of a confidence booster. Anybody that completes it doesn't get lower than a beat. The good part of what I like about my electricity unit is we all have those one kids that are really hands-on. They learn by doing. They're going to fly through these no problem. That is what I teach. I can teach it in my intro class or my electricity class. There are 14 extra wiring assignments already made. So, you finish it, and I'll pull up here and I'll go, all right, now do that one. All right, now do that one. And that's all I did. And y'all are welcome to copies of those. On the back of it is how I grade it. This is in class. Okay. And that's just how I grade it. Easy enough. Essentially, whenever we get on down through here, and this is all the Reality Works curriculum. If y'all really want to teach it, you got a little money left over, check in the Reality Works. It's really cool, really nice, and I'll show y'all how the grading scale works as far as grading the kids' boards to see if it's right or wrong. It's actually set it to where you could hook it up and be like, oh, something's up with your hot circuit, find it. You don't even have to know anything about it. You just need to know, hey, your hot circuit's wrong, find it. The kid has to go find it and change something else. Come back, oh, now your neutral circuit's wrong, go find it. If it's above your head and you don't really know, let them figure it out. Obviously, they send you with an answer key and you can sit there and trace and find it. As far as the contest goes, this is a tool ID sheet. They have, I believe it's typically the rules say I think 30 seconds a tool.
Yeah, we give them 30 roughly. 45 on the first contest.
But
or so.
More than likely they're going to be sitting there bored.
Yeah.
We do allow them to go back afterwards. Now, if you've got a kid that's been through the whole thing and only marked 2 tools, they're done. Like, I mean, they didn't even try. But if they're sitting there and they're trying and you can tell they got 1 tool left, okay, I'll get that one real fast, go for it. You know, I'm not doing this to trick a kid or try to make a kid lose.
Yeah.
But if a kid is not trying the first time, then, I mean, they're worrying us there. Here is the rubric. And this is the general rubric for every contest. So hot circuits, so like on this bottom one here, it's got 1, 2, 3 hot connections worth 15 points. Each screw connection is worth 5 points. Same way with the neutral. Each one's worth 5 points. The ground, everywhere there's a ground hooked up, we just divide it evenly. If it comes up, I think one time we had 7 hookups and it was worth 15 points, everyone's worth 2. Every kid got a point for doing it. I will tell you that people have started, and typically they've used box knives to cut these with. Don't send your kids with box knives. Just a safety deal.
Yeah.
I know my kids went to Gordon Cooper Electrical Program. They're like, yeah, we use those all the time. And I'm like, you're not going to use them here. Just because they'll cut their thumb. We've had to start carrying Band-Aids because kids cut themselves. And it's, yeah. But anyways, there's that. That's pretty much the same thing. Here are the wiring scenarios that will be on the contest. So what we do is typically towards the beginning of the year, we try to stay towards the top of the list. Because we know we've got some newbies and stuff like that. We try to build their confidence. We try to stay towards the bottom of the list. You know, to me, wiring up a switch light at State is way too easy for State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think State needs to be pretty hard. And what we do is we number them, put them in a hat, and we draw 'em. And a lot of those you can power in multiple places, like on the board. This is if you drew this is exactly how I would explain it to your kids. I would go over and be like, okay, on your board you should have a switch, a lamp base. You should have 2 pieces of 12-2. You should have 1 wire nut. And I'll list off all these things and say, if you don't have it, raise your hand now. Nobody raises their hand, we move on. So tell your kids to listen, because I've had kids sit there before and they do something and I come up to them, like, why don't you do it that way? And I'm like, well, I didn't have a wire nut. Did you not listen at the beginning when I said, do you have a wire nut? No. Guys, like, listen.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and if a kid's not going to pay attention, then I don't know what to do with them. But I'll put it on there and say, we're going to power in here. You put your light here. Your switch is going to be in this box. You're going to run it through here. We do not use that box and that box. Make sure your board is orientated correctly, because there are points associated with it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look on this one, it says correct pathway, just for using this box and this box. And then I tell them that I will not count off for excessive wire outside of the box, but we will count off for inside, because we'll do 3 or 4 rotations. So this wire right here, if the first group gets it, it's going to be 4 or 5 feet long. The last group gets it, it's going to be about this long. So we don't count off for excessive outside. I don't care what it does outside of this box.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it's connected, we're good.
Yeah.
If they come in there and cut it in half and put one here, then that's going to be points off. But as long as it makes a continuous loop, I don't care about it, because we have to use it that way. And then we typically sit down like that one. I'd probably give them 20 minutes. Here you go. That first group, if at 18 minutes nobody's done, everybody's struggling, we're gonna give them a little more time. You know, then we'll say, well, let's go 25. You know, if at 22, 3/4 of them finish, 25 is probably the limit. So that first group we have a pretty good feel for how long it should take, but that first group is typically what sets the pace. So that does adjust on the fly. Like, we've done some of these, like split wire receptacles in a series. I think we ended up having to have 40 minutes on that one. That was a doozy. The other thing that I will tell you is, if you ever have a point in which 2 ground wires have to come together, and this one will be a real good doozy for you, because there's like 4 different ways to skin a cat, you know. Let's see there.
And this one's probably the one that we get the most. Can I not do it this way? My teacher said do it this way, which is the way they're usually talking about it is technically exactly the code, but the way that we encourage more people to do it is probably what's going to be a little more what you're going to see in reality.
Yeah. So what most people will do, and the thing that I see that technically is right, but I don't like it, they'll come in here and they got, you know, the black and the whites wired up to the right spot. And they'll take these things and they'll take a wire nut and put on them, add a jumper. What happens is, when I come up to look at this thing, I'm turning it to look at it. That pops off, that's points off. And that's it. I encourage to come in here, get them to twist. So there's a set of linemen's. There's some right there in that black box top. This wire's gonna bug me if it's not going. Hold it like that. And then twist it. And no matter how much you wiggle that, it's not coming undone.
Yeah.
Therefore, you won't lose any points. A lot of kids will actually screw these down in the box. If it's down in the box, I got to take it out of the box. When I take it out of the box, there's a chance for things to wiggle, move, and whatnot. I tell my kids, I want that sucker up here, nice and easy, Because if I can do this and look at everything, I'm not going to touch anything.
Yeah, there's not gonna be anything coming loose.
Exactly.
That's what I remember. Because like whenever I took this electricity class, I took it with Brent Haken, and he would grab our boards and like try and break stuff off. And there was on our first day, he sent somebody's stuff flying.
Really?
He's like, redo it. I was like, oh my God. Brent,
See, I'll do that
chill it
with
out
the
a little
wire
bit.
nuts. I'll take the wire nuts and I'll pick the board up and I'll do this. That's all I do. But if I can sit there and look and see everything, it's good. If I have to move it and it pops off or breaks while I'm moving, that point's off. And I tell every kid that does it, but hey guys, it'd be so much better if you could set this sucker up here to where I can see it. This yellow can be no greater than a half an inch in the box. Now, like on this one, if it's like that, well, I can give you one of those, but I can't give you both of them.
Both of them.
I'll give you one, but I'm going to count off for one somewhere. I tell my kids to forcibly pull it out and make sure that sucker is sitting there nice and pretty. Again, everything out up here to where I don't have to move anything. And then nothing moves, nothing tears up, no points off theoretically, right? That's the main parts that I see that get hit. Tool rise, this is what you need. Like I said, all my 8th graders do it. I recruit from there to go on my electricity team. Now the question is do y'all want to wire something?
Yes. Let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
Does electricity go towards sweepstakes?
Yeah.
It does?
Yeah.
Good. Good to know.
I will tell you, I put something on the back here. The ones that were the most confusing for me and my kids, 3-way switch and 4-way switch. That's the easiest way I've learned to explain it to it. So you're hot, your neutral always goes to whatever's using the electricity. So your light, your receptacle, wherever the power is being used, that's where it goes. Your hot goes in the common. On the back of the 3-way switch, there's 3 switches. There are 3 screws. One's going to set a common. The other 2 are travelers. Power goes in the common. 2 travelers are connected with nothing in between. Power will come out the common. The easiest way I've learned about this is think about it like there's a bar in here. That's a complete circuit. If you flip this switch and it goes to here, it's no longer complete. But if you flip this switch, now it's a complete circuit again. That clicks with kids. And I do the same thing here. So again, we go here, and then we go here, and we go there. That's complete. If I flip this one over to there, well, that's not going to work. But if I flip this one and it goes to there, well, then it's back complete again. And that's the way I explain it. The easiest way that I've done it is explain the 3-way, and then when they ask, well, what about a 4-way? 4-way works the exact same way, just put it in the middle. It's easy.
Have you wired a 4-way switch on
Yeah, it's on state contest.
the same contest?
It is the last one on state contest. I've done it. Funny story, my first year to have electricity team, I recruited this kid, and he was actually a state champion this year. And we did everything but 4-way because I didn't have a 4-way switch. I thought, man, the odds of that, you're looking at 1 in 11 of a 4-way switch being on there.
And it was.
That's what it was. That's what it was. So we had to deal with it.
You wouldn't use this. Would you use that board for a 4-way switch?
Yeah.
Switch,
would
switch,
put
switch light?
3-way, 4-way, switch, light. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, everything on there we can do with this board.
Okay.
So, how do y'all want to do the contest or the other stuff? Or here?
Well, let me ask you. So, what as far as preparing for the test?
Oh,
Yeah, that would be another thing.
great thing. We have resources online. Starting out, you can buy an Uglies book. If that kid knows everything in there, they're gonna be pretty good.
Okay.
Where do you find those at?
Amazon.
I love
This is where I
Amazon.
bought this one. I'm about to go buy a new edition.
Let me see that.
Yeah, Amazon. Electrical terms. Obviously, we've got the Egg notebooks we used up here. There's that 2009 one. There's the old hardback. There's a few more listed on there. I like this book for more terminology. And then these two are fairly good. As far as if you really, really, really got a good kid, and I'm talking he's excelling, code book. Or a residential wiring book. And you'll have that kid at some point in time that is just leaps and bounds ahead of everybody. Slap that code book down in front of him and start asking him questions. Just random ones. What's the minimum wire we can use in the bathroom? Well, I don't know. Go find it. And just have him start searching and looking. This one is actually probably a pretty good step between these and this one. But I would, if I was you guys starting out, that ugly book is what I would do.
Okay.
And actually,
And just get enough for every kid.
Yeah. That, or I mean, get one and make copies of it. However you want to do it. But that ugly books, I've got 2. Well, and what I do for mine, so the written test you can always guess on, multiple choice. The wiring, you have to know. Tool ID you can guess on. I always start everybody off with wiring. Typically, my 8th graders, they don't even touch that ugly book.
Is that where most of the points come from? Is the wiring?
The wiring's worth 100, written test worth 100, tool ID's worth 99.
So then it's an even split then.
Pretty well.
Okay.
I start them with the wiring because they can always guess C on the written test, and that one they can get
And I
closer.
mean that's kind of your hook too. I mean
That's the hook.
That's what
That's the
that's
hook.
what they enjoy doing.
So we do that, and then we move on to tool ID. If I can have them getting in the high 80s, 90s on wiring and tool ID by the end of the first year, I'm golden. Then we flip over and we start stressing the written test and things like that, and the book and terms and math, and they'll ask you a little bit here and there and teach them along the way, but that's when I really get into that. Okay, so how difficult or whatnot do you want to do?
I just want to start off with an easy one and then do, like a difficult one.
Yeah.
Why
Probably.
don't you do that one? 2 outlets in a series.
I haven't done this in so long. It's about to be really embarrassing. I got pretty good at it with back over in college.
So, and guys, I'll pass these out to the kids. Tell your kids if they ever get any of these, because they are always reused. If a screw stripped out, ask. And I tell them that. But guys, if a screw stripped out, just ask. It all goes along with the kid paying attention.
Where'd you pick these up at? Did you just buy them?
I think I got those at Lowe's.
Good.
I've gotten a lot of my stuff at Lowe's. We lucked out and got a after-school grant, and they asked me, they said, well, will you teach a after-school program to the 8th graders? And, 1 hour a week for, I think they said 10 weeks. I think it was 8 or 9 weeks. And we'll give you like $3,000 to buy equipment. I said, what happens to us after that? They goes, oh, it's yours. Yes.
Yeah, okay, go
Yes.
ahead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bring it on.
Because you're looking at 9 hours of work, and I get all this stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
That was through Strother?
that was through some after-school grant they got. But Strother, somebody there, they called me and said, hey, would you do this? Yes. Yep. All right, let's see here.
So this is simple. This
Yeah, because how much is Romex right now?
I don't even know what price it. I think the last thing I saw it was like 150-ish.
Damn it, Bobby.